Let's talk about a girl who is beautiful, who's talented, who has a big ambition in life, and who is well educated. Beauty that she has and she is socially accepted for makes her meet a man and they fall in love with each other. Now, since we know the fictions, the way we see love stories, this story was supposed to be going on the flow. They're getting married, they did, they are living a life and ending peacefully. Now there's a catch. That's what I'm going to be talking about today. I am here with the book review of MAHASHWETA by Sudha Murty. But before talking about this, hello everybody once again. Welcome back to my channel. And as I've already mentioned, today I'm going to be talking about one of the beautiful books I have again read by Sudha Murty. Now, without further ado, I don't want to create any kind of a drama. I would love to jump into the main concept of the book. Anupama, who I was just talking about, the girl who's really talented, who has an ambition, who wants to do something in life, who wants a career, who loves to play dramas, who is passionate about Sanskrit language. Her life turns around and all of a sudden she meets the man Anand in one of Anupama's plays, where Anupama plays the role of Mahashweta. Anand instantly falls in love with Anupama when he sees the extraordinary beauty. Now, here we go. They talk to each other, they fall in love, and then they decide to get married. Everything happens as if overnight. Then an instant makes the entire story like a house of a card. Everything that Anupama was expecting from her life, from her husband, from the imagination she had while she was getting married, fell apart. I want to give you a spoiler here. Why it happened. Beauty that I was talking about, that somewhere becomes the main enemy of Anupama's destruction of life. Yes, she faces Lokadharma. All of a sudden, she notices after getting married in one of the occasions in her in-laws, she starts to notice some of the white patches in her body. Initially, she was a little bit of careless about it. She was thinking, okay, it could have been an incident that happened. She faced with a fireball, probably from one of the I can't remember what it's called, but she was thinking it could have been the sign of that fire that fell on her leg. But as the days went on, she triggered that it was absolutely not because of the fire. She sees a doctor who confirmed her what it was. And everything that Anupama was thinking that she was living a heavenly life turned into a hell, or worse than that. Now here, as I was expecting, okay, Anand falls in love with Anupama with the way she is and she's ambitious. She will be the perfect match for his life. Obviously, Anand will come for her rescue. But unexpectedly, it doesn't happen. Here we get the harsh truth of life that once you lose the external beauty that everybody is getting attracted with, is getting fascinated with, and people can do anything to get that. Once you lose that, you are all alone. All of a sudden, the in-laws Anupama was hiding everything from gets to know that Anupama has something that is not acceptable, and especially who comes from a very poor family is going to be a great stigma for the family. And since from the very beginning Anupama's mother-in-law and her entire in-laws didn't agree with the marriage, because obviously the social status matters for them, they didn't agree, but only because Anand insisted, they arranged everything. They just used it as an excuse to kick Anupama out. Anupama gets back to her house, yet nobody supports her there as well. She decides to leave the house. Anupama leaves the house and she decides that I have to get out of it. In such a way, throughout all these incidents, few years go by. Anupama learns how to live. Anupama learns how to stand on her feet. Anupama learns how the reality is. Anupama learns that for God's sake, she did not make the decision to kill herself. That once she thought, because nobody was accepting her, nobody was by her, nobody was ready to believe that beauty is not everything. She continues the life there in Bombay. And even in the middle, she faces an incident that felt as if nothing is left. She lives there in one of our friend's house for the job purpose she was doing as a clerk in the very beginning. And she gets an immense treat from that friend's husband. But one day, she faces another reality. That brother that Anupama accepted him as shows his real face, insisting Anupama to get intimated with him. Even he takes the advantage of the current phase Anupama was going through, that, you know what, I will make your friend to go against you, and you don't know what would happen. Everything will be destroyed. Anupama gathers the courage and faces the reality. From here, another chapter starts in her life, and she gets one of her ambitions achieved. She gets opportunity as a lecturer there in a college, where she gets the chance to direct the plays again. And beautifully, she makes all her students to play in that dramas. In the middle, because of an incident, I want to hide this to you, otherwise you will lose the interest to read the book. Go ahead and read this, it's really beautiful. Anupama meets two doctors and they become really friendly to her, and they help her, they show a different perspective of life. Meanwhile, Anand gets to know the reality once he gets back from the England. I've forgotten to tell you, after 2 months of Anand and Anupama's marriage, Anand leaves England saying that soon he will get back and take Anupama with him to England. That never happens, as I've told you, whatever had happened in the middle. So Anand gets back and he realizes his mistake. Fortunately, he finally understands what he did and what he could have done when everything was out of control and when Anupama needed help, when Anupama needed somebody beside her to get over everything that she was suffering from. So he looks for Anupama here and there. Meanwhile, Anupama's father dies and everything seems as if a puzzle going on. Anand tries to get back in her life. He tries to meet Anupama, and there I want to stop. After reading it, you may agree with Anupama's decision that she did it right. And somehow I felt that it was not only her decision, but it was a message for everybody like us out there who sometimes suffer from self-doubt, who sometimes think that if I don't get validated by people, I'm not successful, I won't be able to do anything. Anupama somewhere becomes the sign of that truth, sign of a power, who learns so many things in the middle, what life is, how people are, and how she matters in life. I've got a couple of valuable lessons from the book. I want to share one of them. Yeah, I don't know if I'm able to express my thoughts properly about the book, but I can say this book has left something in my heart, left a question of what I want, left a question of my beliefs, left a question on my overall expectation of reality. So let me share the beautiful couple of lines that I have highlighted. It is there in 99 page. I don't know if you're able to see 99 page here, that is talking about perfection. There's no perfection in anything in life. Even in the great river Ganga, there are black serpents. The beautiful Saraswati has jade black curls. The moon has a dark spot because even in nature, perfection is not possible. It gives us an idea of how to accept the imperfect things and how to accept the way we are. Sometimes we forget because we get illusioned with the external beauty. We get super conscious about something that really doesn't matter. We think too much about how we look. We think too much about what dress we are wearing. We think too much about how people think we are. But at the end, if we ask ourselves the question, if they really do matter, we would find that, what am I thinking about? Just think about your elderly life. Would anything matter at that point of time? I was reading it and I was getting a lot of thoughts. I was contemplating. However, I don't want to waste any further time of yours. Let me end by just showing how the book looks. But before that, I would really request you, my humble suggestion to you guys, just go ahead and give it a go. If probably it was published long time back, it was in 2005. Oh my goodness, long time back. If I'm not wrong, it would be 2005. I don't know if I've got this right, but yeah. However, the book looks so fascinating. Here's the blurb, the spine, and there's a story behind this cover. You will also get the little anecdote at the end of the story here, where Sudha Murty shares the beautiful impact this story has fallen on a couple. And even Sudha Murty says that unexpectedly an ordinary person like me has been able to change somebody's life. It was really a cherishing story. So it contains 154 pages only, guys. It would not be very hard to go, although it took me an entire week to complete this book. Yeah, easier said than done, you know. So this is from Penguin Publisher, and that's it. I don't think that I should talk more about this, and you won't get further interest because it's been too long. So that's all. I don't know how I've been able to explain things, but every time I read a book, if I have to talk about learning this language, I always try to find out a couple of things from the book, especially number one, the words, vocabularies that are really important in order to speak properly. I found from this book, and beautiful lines that I can talk about. Yeah, at the end, that's all I can remind you. If you have found anything exciting, anything interesting or helpful, do let me know in the comment. That's it. That's all about today's review. Mahashweta by Sudha Murty. Bye.